Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Charles in Charge Cowboys Sports Report, where I just bring you the best of my take and my thoughts of what's going on with our team, America's team, and pregame, postgame, whatever is going on at the moment. This is my my knee jerk postgame reaction to the win on the road against Carolina, the 1-win Carolina Panthers. If you're watching this episode, guys, you have not subscribed. The red subscribe button costs you nothing. It is free. I implore you, please hit that red subscribe button. Help this show grow. I guarantee you, I'm getting closer to 500. 1,000 is my goal. Once I hit 1,000, the show will jet off like a rocket. And I'll be able to start putting back into it with a microphone, studio equipment, sound bites, a computer just for this, with film and graphics. Because right now it's my Galaxy and I. And a call online for live shows. That is for sure. It's a free investment, guys. Hit the red subscribe button. Cost you nothing, and the like button. It helps get the video viewed more. 33-10 final score. I was a little overzealous in the pregame show. I predicted 52-0. I thought we were going to come out guns blazing like we did against the Giants, both times, kind of like we did against the Rams. But, in the NFL, a win's a win. The Texans right now are 6-4. Just got done beating the Bengals. Slipped past Arizona, but did lose to Carolina. So any given Sunday, and we're not the best team on the road. At home, this season at home, we've averaged 40 points at home. 40 points on the road. We've averaged 21.8 on the road coming into today's game. So we let them hang around for, the first three quarters, 17-3, then 10-17. They had that 9-minute drive, 17 plays, 9 minutes, 3 fourth down conversions on that drive. And after that, we finally started to pull away. We had 311 yards to their 187. We had 204 through the air to their 77. We had 107 on the ground to their 110. It seemed like Carolina rushed for more than 110 yards, right? It looked like our run defense was getting gashed. And it probably would have been a lot more rushing yards if the game would have been closer, especially, in the fourth quarter. But halfway through the fourth quarter, we were able to pull our starters out. The first half of the first quarter, we blew the doors open and finally ended it instead of letting them hang around some more. So that 110 yards is really, through three quarters, really. Run defense is not that impressive. Kind of disappointed in the way Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders ran, up the middle or around the edge. Either one, they were getting yards. And it's kind of funny because they signed Miles Sanders, their high-priced free agent running back, but he's number 2 behind Chuba Hubbard. Hubbard had 10 carries, 57 yards. It's 5.7 yards a carry. That's Carolina. It's not good. Miles Sanders had 11 carries for 50 yards. That's 4.5 yards a carry. It's not good. You're playing Carolina. They don't have the best offensive line. They don't have the best offense. Their passing game, Adam Thielen is their only threat. He ate today. He had 8 catches, 74 yards, 9.2 yards a catch. He's matched up on Jordan Lewis a lot of the time. I would have just had Deron Bland shadow Adam Thielen, and if he was lined up in the slot, have Bland lined up with him in the slot, and just put Lewis outside, against whoever else they have to throw to. Adam Thielen's the only person that, we recognize. And Jordan Lewis has been playing since 2017. He's been a slot corner his entire career. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. So this is his 7th season. His 6th season, got hurt early, so missed out. Maybe he's still recovering from the Liz Frank injury, but he's been less than impressive for me at slot. I figured if we were to lose Diggs or Gilmore, Bland would kick outside, which he has, and he's done well. And Lewis would, step up as starting in the slot and do well because he was the starter last year before he got hurt, and he's got tons of experience. But he's been disappointing, as has Curse, Wilson, and Hooker's been average, but Wilson and Curse have been disappointing also. There was at one point in time I was thinking, J-Ron Curse was going to become a top 5 safety. This year he has regressed. So has Damone Clark. But with the news of Leighton Vander Esch after the season and Rashaan Evans, he is on the 53-man roster. He was a first-round pick in 2018, as was LVE. He was 22 overall. Leighton Vander Esch is 18th overall. But the way Dan Quinn has it set up now makes more sense. On first down, Micah Parsons isn't playing defensive end. Like today, it was Tank Lawrence, Jonathan Hankins, O.C. Digizua, Dorrance Armstrong. Start linebackers, Micah Parsons, Damone Clark. Secondary, Gilmore and Bland, and then our 3 safeties, Curse, Wilson, and Hooker. That makes more sense, having Micah playing off-ball linebacker on first down. If it's second and short, second down. If we win first down, then he can, if it's second and 10, he can line up on the LOS, or he can still be off ball and blitz. Even though he's playing linebacker, he can still blitz with the best of them. And maybe even have more of an effect on the pass rush coming off the blitz. Now, when it's 3rd and long or 3rd and 10, and they're going to throw it, you line him up at defensive end or over the center, as he did. Today he had 2.5 sacks. He ate. Had a good game. We had 6 sacks overall. Tank Lawrence had 1. Sam Williams had 1. Golson, Armstrong, and Curse each were credited with half a sack. And is Deron Bland's sophomore season looking identical to Trayvon Diggs' sophomore season? Diggs had 11 interceptions. He took 3 to the house. So far, Diggs has 6 interceptions. He's taken 4 to the house. Today was his 4th pick 6, tied the record. He has 7 more games to get that last one to break the record and be the only defensive back to return 5 interceptions to the house in one season. If he's going to do that, I'd rather him get that done by week 17. Because, us having 17 games now, records being broken with 17 games, it's kind of like cheating. It's kind of like the records that were broken in the 16-game season, breaking records that were set in the 13-game seasons. You know what I mean? When in the 70s and whatnot, when they had 13 games, Miami Dolphins went 13-0. But it is what it is now, I guess. Whatever records that are set, and if they're set in the last game of the season, that's going to be the record now. I think with 7 games left, Bland will get that 5th pick 6. He's got Sam Howell twice. Sam Howell, coming into week 11, was the NFL's leading passer in passing yards. He can't sling the ball around, but he can't get the ball to the opposition. I was surprised to see Washington fall to New York again today. That's twice, right? The Giants have swept Washington. That's got to be a kick in the balls to get swept by the Giants. The Giants are bad. They are bad. We outscored them 89-17 in our 2 games. And Washington got swept by them. And then we're sitting there watching Cowboys Lions. It's out of market because I live in Houston. It's the two or three games out of the season were out of market game because we're playing the same time as Houston at noon. And we got the Bears and Lions on the other screen. And Bears get a 12-point lead. A little over 3 minutes left to go, and I'm like, man, Detroit's gonna lose one here against, Chicago, and Chicago has to just give it to them. That first touchdown, wide open in the back of the end zone, and that second touchdown, the drive right down the field and get in the end zone. And then they had a shot to get a field goal to go into overtime in the first play. Number 97, Aiden Hutchinson, I believe, gets a strip sack. Ball goes out of end zone, safety. I was like, damn, man, that would have dropped them down to a 3-loss team, which is good. We still played in week 17, but I believe Detroit will fall to either at least the Saints or Minnesota before they play us. They're going to fall to a team because they're good, but they're not, I don't think they're the best. I do not. They've had a very, very puff schedule this season. Today went like I thought it would, not near as explosive. I thought it would be over by halftime. But I figured we'd be sitting our guys in the fourth quarter. I figured the whole fourth quarter we'd be sitting them. But we were sitting them halfway into the fourth quarter, which is fine, which is good. I didn't want our defense to be out there for a long time, being that we got a game on Thursday. They were out there for 28 minutes, 39 seconds. Cooper Rush played the second half of the fourth quarter, and we pulled Tyron Smith, Zach Martin, Bia Dash. We left Terrence Steele in there and Tyler Smith in there. Brandon Cooks, 3 catches, 42 yards. CeeDee Lamb did not get his 10-catch, 150-yard game today. It was a pedestrian offensive game today. I mean, it didn't look like we came out salivating at the mouth, looking to stomp on a wounded dog. We came out. We don't play good on the road. It seems like, even though it was all Cowboy fans in the stadium, on the road we're a different team. But we did score 33 when it was all said and done. We came in averaging 21.8 on the road. Cooks had 3 catches, 42 yards. Lamb had 6 for 38, a touchdown. Ferguson, 3 for 32, and Michael Gallup, 3 for 31. Michael Gallup is getting better game by game. Since that horrible drop he had against Philly, and they put him on the bench right after that, seems like he's come back and he's starting to make plays. He made a few pretty good catches later in that Philly game, and then drew that big pass interference penalty on that last drive. He had some good plays against the Rams. Against the Giants, he was targeted twice. 2 fade routes, down the sideline. Caught both of them, 1 for a touchdown. And today we start with a screen pass to him. And throw to him 2 more times. He catches it both times. I think he's starting to mentally get over that block. And he's starting to trust his knee. If he does that, then our wide receiver number 3 will be the MG13 that we've known. And that is a hell of a good wide receiver number 3. With Brandon Cooks at 2, CeeDee Lamb, the unquestioned number 1, and having Kevontae Turpin as our X factor at wide receiver. X factor meaning, he could catch a screen, go 30. He could beat you deep. He could do a lot of things, end arounds. We're still working him into the offense. Jalen Tolbert's looking better. Brooks, our 7th round pick, had his chance for a deep ball, and he even was held on the play, and got out, DB was holding his arm, got away from that, dove for the ball. Ball was right there in his hands, between his hands. Cooper Rush dropped a dime right in the bucket, and Jalen Brooks dropped it, man. I was like, oh, that was your shot, man, to make a big play. That was a guy that I guaranteed wouldn't make the roster because he's like 6'1", runs a 4.6 40. I'm like, you don't have size, you don't have speed. I mean, how's he going to make the team? He did. And he looked good last week. He just had a shot to make the big play today, and it didn't happen. And right now, San Fran is going to beat Tampa. Tampa had their shot to pull within 6. They were at San Fran's 12-yard line. They failed to do that. Turnover on downs. But the team that we really need to watch the most, that's most important, is Philadelphia. So tomorrow night, Monday Night Football at Kansas City, that's going to be a bowl game right there. You root for KC all day long. Because the way San Fran is looking, I believe San Fran goes into Philly, beats them down. But if they can lose against Kansas City tomorrow night, that is a start. That puts them at 8-2, us at 7-3. And then they got Buffalo, and then they have San Fran right after that. I don't know the score right now between Bills and Jets. I haven't looked. But with the struggles that Buffalo is having, they're still a team that can turn it on. They can flip a switch. And they can go to Philly, and that offense can flip a switch and ignite and put up 40 on that Philly defense. The Bills' defense still hasn't found their identity yet, so that could be a shootout game. But we're looking too far ahead. Tomorrow night is a big game. We need a Philadelphia loss because our home, the way we play at home versus away, is night and day. So winning the division is imperative. Even if Detroit makes the rounds, doesn't lose, but loses to us, and we wind up with the same record, but they have the number 1 seed, even if we get the 2 seed, that's just fine. That's just fine because you get 2 home games, and I believe we'd win those 2 home games and give us a shot at the championship game, which we haven't been to since I was in 3rd grade. 10 years old. I'm 37 now, so I've been waiting a long time. So the 2 seed is just fine. No problem there. And then, if Detroit were to get the 1 seed, I would not be shocked at all if they got knocked off. And, if that happens and you're the 2 seed, then basically you become the 1 seed. It's a 4-team race. It's Detroit, San Fran, Philadelphia, and Dallas. Not in any particular order. We'll see what happens. Niners got Seattle, Philly, and Seattle, the next 3. They also have Baltimore down the stretch, I do believe. And I think the Ravens right now are playing the best football out of everybody. That's going to be a tough game for San Fran. Because Baltimore has a defense just like they do, and an offense, with a dangerous quarterback that is healthy. And Odell Beckham is starting to get his legs, under him. He had Thursday night he had a touchdown over 50 yards for the first time in forever. Mark Andrews out for the season. It's a big blow for them, that tight end, but they're used to injuries. They can make up for that. Philly starts their gauntlet tomorrow night at KC. Home against Buffalo, home against San Fran, at us, and then at Seattle. And then the Lions have the easiest schedule. They got the Packers on Thanksgiving. After that, they got 10 days to prepare for New Orleans. New Orleans trying to secure the NFC South. Has a good defense. Can play good ball when they need to. So if Derek Carr's not playing, Jameis Winston is. Jameis Winston is dangerous. They could lose to the Saints. I would be surprised. And then they got Minnesota, us and Minnesota again. With Josh Dobbs, I'd like to see what they do against Denver. If Josh Dobbs and that offense looks really good again, and this is without JJ, wait until Justin Jefferson comes back. Then Josh Dobbs has JJ, Addison, Hawkinson, Osborne. I mean, he's got a ton of weapons at his disposal, and that Minnesota defense ain't no joke. Y'all think Tom Brady's gonna make a late season comeback and join like Cleveland or Cincinnati? Cleveland would be the better one because they have the better record. But joining that Cleveland team, he's used to cold weather. They got a great defense. They got weapons for him to throw to. Amari Cooper, Elijah Moore and whatnot, and Kareem Hunt in the backfield. Wouldn't that be some shit if Tom Brady came out of retirement to quarterback Cleveland? Or Cincinnati, because they got a ton of talent too, and try to rally them back into the playoff race. I don't see that happening, but there are people talking about that. And we saw Martavius Bryant this week practicing with the 53-man roster, not with the practice squad. I wonder if he plays this year. 6'4", he's still 6'4", still has a 40-inch vertical, and still runs a 4.40. He's been out of the league five years. I understand that. We signed Aldon Smith in 2020, right? He had been out of the league 3 years, and he started hot the first half of the season, faded down the stretch. But against Seattle, he had that 3-sack game, it just in that one game alone. And Seattle offered to trade for him. Our dumbass was like, no, we'll keep him, even though we don't have a quarterback. We could have got a third-round pick for him. He walks in the offseason, of course. Well, no, I believe he got in trouble and whatnot. But anyways, bottom line is we went to Carolina. We handled business. We let him hang around longer than we should have, but we put him away. DaRon Bland is continuing to ascend, which is very, very good. We're going to need that because when Diggs comes back next season, it'll probably take him half the year to get back to his normal self. If he was going to rupture an Achilles, it's good that he did it after week 2 because it would almost be a whole solid year when week 1 comes around for him to have that rehab. If Aaron Rodgers can play quarterback December 24th, then Trayvon Diggs should be able to play cornerback a year later, at a very, very high level. The over-under on Aaron Rodgers playing Christmas Eve, which would be week 16. Y'all think Aaron Rodgers will play by the 24th if the Jets are in contention? He says that's the day he's shooting for, and Robert Saleh said if Aaron Rodgers says he can go, they're going to let him go. So that's just some entertainment to keep an eye on. But we're 7-3. Tomorrow night, tune in ESPN to watch Philly and Kansas City and root for Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid to knock off his former team and have Andy Reid knock off his former team again. And Mahomes got that secondary and put up 500 yards, 4 touchdowns, just have a Michael Jordan type game to drop them to 8-2. That would be very, very big. Because then Philly and Detroit would be 8-2. Us, San Fran, 7-3. Seattle wins, they'll be 7-3 also. I forgot who Seattle plays today. But so that'd be 2 or 3 7-3 teams. And then 2 8-2 teams. It'd be very, very tight race going down the stretch. So go Chiefs, go Cowboys. Good win today. A win's a win. Micah Parsons, 2.5 sacks. I'm glad he got to eat. DaRon Bland, his 4th pick 6. Love it. I love it. Hope he gets 5 more picks this season to get 11 like Diggs did in 21. And I hope he gets 1 more to the house. At least 1 more to the house to hold that record. 5th round pick out of Fresno State. Who would have thought? He's been a godsend because if we didn't have DaRon Bland and Diggs going down, our secondary would be in shambles right now. But DaRon Bland was able to go out there and solidify that number 2 spot. And he might be our number 1 right now. So please subscribe, like, and share, guys. We got Washington on Thanksgiving, so I'm going to catch y'all probably Tuesday to finish off what happened here today and go into what we're going to do against Washington. Them losing against the Giants today is good because I believe they're going to come to AT&T Stadium with their head hanging low, feeling pretty bad about themselves. If you get swept by the Giants, man, that's bad. Please subscribe, like, and share, guys. I cannot implore that enough. Keep God first and foremost. He comes before everything, even this. Seek him and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. I'm a living testimony of that, guys. I'll catch y'all later. Y'all be good. Have a good week. Charles in charge. Have a good Thanksgiving week. Charles in charge is out.